There was a night in the Persian Empire when the wind seemed to carry secrets through the palace halls. Servants walked quietly. Guards stood still. And somewhere in the shadows, a plan was forming that would place an entire nation in danger. No one knew that the fate of thousands rested in the hands of one young queen, a queen with a hidden identity. Far beyond the palace walls, people slept peacefully, unaware that darkness was moving against them. Who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther 4:14. Long before danger came, there was a young Jewish woman named Esther. She had lost her parents as a child and was raised by her wise cousin Mordecai. Esther was humble, gentle, and beautiful, not only in appearance, but in spirit. When the king of Persia searched for a new queen, Esther was chosen above all others. Suddenly, the orphan girl found herself wearing a crown. Yet no one in the palace knew her true heritage. She was Jewish, and Mordecai had told her to keep it secret. God was already placing her where she needed to be. Served a proud and cruel man named Haman. He demanded honor from everyone. Whenever Haman passed by, people bowed low. But Mordecai refused. He would bow only to God. Haman's pride turned into rage. But he did not seek revenge on Mordecai alone. He wanted to destroy all the Jewish people throughout the empire. With deception, Haman convinced the king to sign a deadly decree. The date was set. The people were marked for destruction. When Mordecai heard the decree, he tore his clothes and cried aloud in the streets. Across the empire, Jewish families wept, prayed, and fasted. News reached Queen Esther, and she sent for Mordecai. He answered with urgent words, "Think not that thou shalt escape in the king's house. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this?" Esther 4:13-14. Those words pierced Esther's heart. Was this why she had become queen? There was one terrifying law in Persia. Anyone who approached the king without being invited could be put to death unless the king extended his golden scepter. For 30 days, Esther had not been called. To enter the throne room uninvited could mean instant execution. But Esther made her decision. She told Mordecai, "Go, gather together all the Jews, and fast ye for me, and so will I go in unto the king. And if I perish, I perish." Esther 4:16. This was no longer about comfort. It was about courage. The great doors opened. Esther stepped into the royal court. Every eye turned toward her. Guards tightened their grip on their spears. Silence fell like thunder. The king looked up from his throne. For one endless moment, no one moved. Then slowly, the king smiled and stretched out the golden scepter. Esther lived. He said, "What wilt thou, Queen Esther? It shall be given thee." Instead of accusing Haman immediately, Esther used wisdom. She invited the king and Haman to a banquet, then another banquet. At the perfect moment, Esther spoke. "If I have found favor in thy sight, let my life be given me, for we are sold, I and my people, to be destroyed." The king was stunned. "Who is he, and where is he?" Esther pointed across the table. "The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman." Haman's face turned pale. Haman's evil plot collapsed. The king ordered judgment, and Haman was removed from power. A new decree was issued allowing the Jewish people to defend themselves. What had been planned for destruction became a day of victory. Joy filled the streets. Families embraced. Songs replaced sorrow. God had used one courageous woman to save a nation.
Esther looking towards sunrise from palace balcony. Soft heavenly light over city. Symbolic peaceful atmosphere. Divine presence unseen but felt. You may feel small, forgotten, hidden. But Esther's story reminds us that God can place ordinary people in extraordinary moments. Your courage may answer someone else's prayer. Your obedience may protect a family. Your voice may change history. Perhaps you too were placed here for such a time as this. The book of Esther never directly mentions God's name, yet his presence is seen in every moment. An orphan became queen. A secret was preserved. A king's heart was moved. An enemy was exposed. A nation was saved. Sometimes God works silently behind the scenes. Even when unseen, he is never absent. The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord. Proverbs 21, verse 1.